Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 98 of This Week in Geek. My name is Ren Geekness, and I am co-hosting alone today. So I'm not co-hosting, I'm just hosting the show. Zach is still a little busy. He cannot be here today. He is very sorry. Just a heads up, next week there will not be a show because I will be in the process of moving. I will let you all know this again at the end of the show because I know more people will naturally be watching by then. If you're watching us live, if you're watching us on the repeat, if you're listening to us on Spotify, however you're finding us, thank you so much for finding us. And in case you're new to This Week in Geek, the show has 3 segments. We start with the weekly ranking. That's when me, usually my co-host, and you guys in the live chat go through everything we watched this past week and rank it from the worst to the best. Then we go to the main topic, and today the main topic is the Marvel slate that was just announced for 2025. In case you're wondering why you're just talking about the Marvel slate and not the Disney overall slate, because it is an insane slate. But truthfully, the Disney slate is Disney, Pixar, 20th Century Fox, Star Wars, which just announced one project, and Marvel. So that's, unless I'm forgetting anything, at least 5 different studios within the umbrella of Disney. But anyway, past that, we go into the third and final segment of the show, which is answering your questions. Usually you can leave your questions on the community tab. There's a post there with a thumbnail for this episode of the show. But if you want to guarantee that your question is answered and is answered immediately, you can always support us through the tip link in the description or using the super chat feature. So without any further ado, my friends, let us get started with our weekly ranking. And I'm going to get us started because I wouldn't say catching up on a lot of stuff. I caught up on 2 films. There's 2 other major releases I need to catch up on. But this week started with Magpie, which is a really solid thriller starring Daisy Ridley in a very different performance. I think the film does a really good job of making you feel the tension at really fooling you on what it is going for, but what it is go for is really, really solid. I really enjoyed this one. So I enjoyed everything that I watched this week to start us off. Then I watched My Old Ass, which is the one starring Aubrey Plaza and Maisie Stella or Maisie Estella. I don't remember because I've never seen this actress in anything else. Thought this was a fun romp. I hope no one watched this for Aubrey Plaza because she has basically 2 scenes. It's an interesting coming-of-age story. I don't think it's one that sticks out particularly for me, but I think for what it's going for, it is quite well done. On top of that, my friends, I finally watched Paddington 3. Paddington in Peru. I watched it later than everyone else. I understand that I'm late, so probably everyone else has already given you their thoughts on this, but I thought it was wonderful. I had a stupid smile on my face throughout the entire runtime. It doesn't match up to the genuine masterpiece that Paddington 2 is. It doesn't. I wouldn't even say it stacks up with the original Paddington, but I really can't say anything bad about this film. It's just filled with as much heart, as much charm as the other films, and it keeps just being a joyous, joyous watch. A wonderful trilogy with no misses. And on top of that, the number one thing, well, sorry, Leo. She's really good in it. They're good scenes, but she's not in it much. Her voice is in it more than she is on camera. Let's say that. But my number one, and I think this film might land on my top 10 of the year as of the moment, Heretic. If you guys have not seen Heretic, this film is fantastic. It's an incredibly claustrophobic chamber piece that is so smart, so sharp with its writing. And Hugh Grant, this is one of my favorite roles he's ever done. Because this guy, made a career for himself out of being a charmer and sweet and a heartthrob, specifically a British heartthrob. And now he's having this twilight era of his career where he's playing scumbags, but he's using the exact same strengths and qualities that made him a genuine heartthrob in the first place. This is such a good film where you can have such rich discussions about it. I can't believe one of the actresses, one of them is played by Sophie Thatcher, who you saw in The Boogeyman. She was also in The Book of Boba Fett. She is in Yellow Jackets, I believe. I don't watch Yellow Jackets, so don't quote me on that one. But those two other projects I mentioned, she's in it. The other girl in this film is Chloe East, which is a name that sounded familiar, but I had no idea who it was. This girl is Sammy Fableman's girlfriend in The Fablemans. She looks completely different. I did not recognize her at all, but her performance is great. Sophie Thatcher's performance is great. Hugh Grant is the cherry on top of everything else. If you have not seen Heretic yet, I cannot recommend this enough. It's so good. I was really surprised and really happy I didn't get spoiled at all for this one. I still have to catch up on Smile 2, which is already not playing anywhere near me, which is a shame. So I just have to watch it at home whenever it releases on digital. And I still have to watch Juror Number 2. Still really want to watch that. But like I said, busy times with the move by next week and everything. So forgive me for not catching up too fast. All right, everyone. From there, I see we have no weekly rankings in the chat, so I'm going to have to move on. And if in the meantime you guys start throwing them in, I will bring them up, pausing in between moments in between projects on the main topic. Where am I writing from? Disney Slate 2025. Slate 2025. There you go. All right, IMDb has all the information we want. So I will mention Disney projects. Hold up, this is way too much. No. I want Disney proper. There we go. The Direct is a good source, I hope. They have a, there we go. We have everything in order and all. All right, so I will mention like the other Disney projects that we have here, but we're going to focus on talking about Marvel because there's a very specific reason why I picked the focus of the main topic to be on Marvel today, because Marvel has a lot of projects in 2025. And this entire year of 2024, we've been talking about Disney, Marvel. They've been talking about we are going to slow down the output of projects between film and television. I believe they said it's around 2 movies, 2 shows, or 2 movies, 3 shows per year. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. There we go. Leo had it. There are a lot of projects. I think we have a total of 9 Marvel projects next year. But the reason why I'm not bothered by this, because when you compare this lineup right now of 2025 to what we have been getting, it's not that much more. And it is definitely a case of, okay, we have all of this in the backlog. Before we slow down, let's just throw everything out. Just so we can get rid of the clutter and streamline everything after that. They're in a sort of trust us, please, on this situation. And I'll tell you why I think that's the reason we have so many Marvel projects next year. So let's start with Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. This is a show that has changed titles. It has changed storylines. I believe it's changed entire creative teams. But it's finally coming out. I don't remember if this project was announced on that 2019 Investors Day sort of thing where the trailer for Loki came out and they announced the Eternals and all that stuff. But it has been announced for quite a while. It was either that or Comic-Con 2019. Investors Day was in 2020. We were in COVID. I remember that now. But this was announced a long time ago, is the point. We're finally getting it. It's not a project I'm super excited for, especially now having gotten a visual sneak peek at it. I'm not too fond of the animation, but hey, I wasn't too fond of the trailer for Spider-Verse, and look how that turned out. So I'm not considering this a problem right now, but I'm just not super excited for it. Captain America Brave New World is one I get more and more and more excited for. That first trailer was a banger. The second trailer, I didn't see it, but everyone who loved the first trailer says the second trailer is better. We got all these glimpses of Red Hulk. The storyline seems really political and it's got that Winter Soldier visceral edge to it. I want to see this. I cannot wait for Valentine's Day. So yeah, Brave New World. Next, we have the Pixar show, the first, well, not first ever anymore, but we have the first ever original Pixar show called Win or Lose. This, I remember, was announced at that investors meeting in 2020. It's finally coming out. I'm excited just because I enjoy Pixar, and I think this is a really creative idea to make a show on, especially from Pixar. I still don't know too much about it, though. I just know the basic angle that they have for this show. Then we have Daredevil Born Again, and I'm just gonna put it out there. This is easily the thing I'm most excited for. Maybe tied for first place with something that comes out a few months later, but Daredevil Born Again is one of my all-time most anticipated TV shows within the context of the MCU, outside of the context of the MCU. Daredevil, the original run of Daredevil, seasons 1, 2, 3, is one of my favorite shows of all time. All 3 seasons are magnificent, and they each get better and better. Season 3, I think it is a flawless season of television. So that's how excited I am for Daredevil Born Again. Even the suit. I did not like the suit when I first saw it, and every time I've seen it in the proper trailer, in action, in context, the suit really works, guys. The suit is kind of a banger. All right, then we got Snow White. Sure, I'm going to see it. Am I super excited? No. You know why? Because I've never been the biggest fan of Snow White. Neither has anyone else who has complained so much about this film. Then we have The Amateur in April. Saw the trailer for this one this week. Looks pretty solid. I think it was showing too much, so I ended up skipping and didn't see the entire trailer, but I saw maybe too much of it. Then we have Andor Season 2. Like I said, we're going to focus on Marvel, but overall, this is one of my most anticipated TV shows next year. Andor Season 1 is spectacular. I love Rogue One. I love Diego Luna. I hope we get more of that dialogue that we got in Season 1 with Stellan Skarsgård. Cannot wait for what is the second and final season of the show. Then we got the live action Lilo and Stitch, and I don't care what the internet says. In fact, I don't know what the internet is saying, but Stitch looks adorable. Do I think it's slightly concerning? We have all these first looks, but don't have a trailer yet? Maybe. We're 6 months away from releasing the movie. So a first teaser would be okay to release right about now, but they're probably waiting for Moana to come out, which makes sense, or they're waiting for Christmas. Then we got Thunderbolts asterisk. Don't forget the asterisk, guys, because by the end of that film, we're going to get revealed the Dark Avengers or the New Avengers or the Secret. Something is going to be revealed at the end of what. I'm not even going to put that out there. I had an idea, but it's a stupid idea. I'm not even going to put that out there. But I'm very excited for Thunderbolts. I think the trailers look great. I think they've assembled a cast that has really won me over, because when I first saw that lineup, I was like, these are all just people who have about the same level of power. None of them are like gods or gamma radiated monsters or, I don't know, sorcerers. Like, everyone is like a super soldier or a super spy. One of them has super soldier serum, kind of. Two of them have super one of them definitely has super soldier serum. The other one kind of has it. Then you have Ghost, which is a very underutilized character that is now in a terrible suit. And you have Taskmaster, who, number one, is in a, what the fuck are you doing? Those suits, Taskmaster and Ghosts, look too similar to distinct them on screen. And then you notice that Taskmaster is barely in the trailers. She probably gonna die. Which makes it hilarious because why are you even bringing Taskmaster back just to kill her? If you want to kill her, just leave her in oblivion. Like, what the hell? Then I already talked about Lilo and Stitch because I skipped over apparently. Then we have Elio. This was the Pixar film that was meant to come out earlier this year, I think around when Dune Part 2 was meant to come out. Don't have many thoughts on this one. I want to see more to be convinced or to have any, proper ideas of what to expect. I don't know. I'm into it because it's Pixar, but I really don't know what this film is. Ironheart comes next. And this is a show that I wish I could be more excited for. I don't think Ironheart would ever be like my number 1, 2, 3 of my most anticipated projects. But this is a project they shot at least 2 years ago. This is a project that originally, ideally, Black Panther 2 comes out November 2022, 2 years ago at this point. Ironheart comes out after that. Christmas, within a 6-month window after Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I think it'd have been totally fine. It's been 2 years. It's coming out in June next year. It will have been over 2.5 years since the project this ties to was released. And it was a great project. I really like Wakanda Forever. I like the addition of Ironheart in it. I think they do a good job of putting her in a position where, yeah, I want to see more of this character. But not 2.5 years later. What happened? Like, why didn't we release it earlier? Because if all we were afraid of was this overwhelming number of projects releasing in the same year, Ironheart is the one that wouldn't stick out like a sore thumb. If anything, Ironheart would have been the one that people are like, well, yeah, we have to get this one now because we just got Black Panther. This is the one that you should have released on top of everything else that they've delayed. Like, same thing with Agatha. Again, for context, Agatha, a show I really like. I wasn't expecting it to. I wasn't interested in it. It came out 3 years after the project it connects to. That was a massive mistake. And still, I think the show is really good. It's one of the best Marvel shows around. It's top tier for sure. Ironheart might end up being that, but why are we waiting? Agatha has the excuse that it just wasn't made. They didn't get started on it until to the point that they could only release it now. Ironheart has been on the shelf purposefully. And I think that's insane. Like I said, I might love Ironheart, don't get me wrong, but I don't know what they're doing by keeping it on the shelf purposefully. Then we got the project that might be tied with Daredevil Born Again as my number 1 most anticipated, and that is Fantastic Four. I refuse to give it the subtitle because I hate it. It's not necessary. It's just a Fantastic Four. Incredible cast, incredible ideas. I saw the leaked trailer. I apologize, Kevin Feige, but it's very, very good. This one, again, might also be waiting for Moana or another release around Christmas. I really want them to release this trailer because it looks nothing but incredible. Michael Giacchino's score sounds fantastic. I love everything that is going for this film. The cast, the idea with the alternate New York 1960s retro-futuristic, very Steve Ditko, very Stan Lee, very 60s sort of comic books. I cannot wait to see this. This is Marvel never went away, but this is their comeback. I feel the Fantastic Four and Daredevil. Daredevil is coming before, but Daredevil is television, and it has that separation. All right. Then we have Eyes of Wakanda. Now, on one hand, I'm excited for this show because this is exactly what they should be doing with Marvel television shows. It's expanding on the different worlds and elements within the MCU. You know what people really loved about the original Black Panther and Wakanda Forever as well, but the original Black Panther introduced it, Wakanda, the lore, the history, the people, the culture of Wakanda. That's interesting. Make a show about that. Um, and so I'm excited for this. I think we're not diving as far or as deep into the world as we could because it's animation. I just don't think they would introduce that in an animated show, because I'm not saying it should be this way, but instantly an animated show is not as broadly appealing as a live action series. And so I think Marvel is aware of that. And because of that, I don't know that they introduce anything that will matter or will connect. Because that's the fun thing with the MCU. That's all we want. That's all we've ever wanted. So I think they might play it safe in this first season, as they did in What If Season 1. They played with these funny, quirky ideas, but didn't go too far into the what if-isms. I think Eyes of Wakanda is going to be the same thing. We're going to expand on these little elements that were already introduced in the film that we know about. Then if they get a season 2, I think they go deeper and farther into the lore, into the history of Wakanda that they've been. If this was a live action show and we were following Okoye as the Dora Milaje, I mean, last we saw her, she's not part of the Dora Milaje anymore, but you know what I mean. Well, she could be, because now Shuri is queen and all that, but we don't know. Nothing was confirmed. Then we got Freakier Friday. I really don't give a shit about that. Marvel Zombies comes next, and this is a show that I feel conflicted about, and I'll tell you why. Because long before everyone else grew tired of zombie shows and zombie stories, I grew tired of zombie stories and zombie shows. Yes, I am pulling the hipster card on this one. I was tired of it long before everyone else was. I also have never been a big fan of the Marvel Zombies comic, because I'm not that interested in zombies and zombie storytelling. So when they announced it as an episode of What If, it was easily the episode I was least excited for. And then I watched the episode, and I really enjoy it. and the way they leave it off is like, I want to see how this specific story with the Marvel Zombies ends. That said, I don't know that I need a show of it. I believe this show is also one that's going to be very short. That's like 4, 6, 8 episodes long, and all of them are like 20 minutes. So it's going to be an easy watch at least, but it's just not one that is very high on my excitement scale personally. I will watch it. It is Marvel. I will be there, but I'll also not pretend that it's one I'm eagerly awaiting to watch. Then we got Tron Ares. Then we got Predator Badlands. I'm very excited for that. Then we got Zootopia 2. Also very excited for that. At the end of the year, we got Avatar, Fire and Ash. But right before Avatar, Fire and Ash, we have Wonder Man. And this is a show I cannot wait to watch. And I'll tell you why. Because Wonder Man is a fascinating character in the comics. He has a great portrayal in Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the animated series, which, if you haven't seen, it's one of the greatest superhero TV shows of all time. Wonder Man is a completely different character in this show than he is in the comics. Like, I don't know who this guy is. And that's why I'm so excited for it. Because of the meta-ness that they can play with. Oh, we have Deadpool, then we got She-Hulk, and now we're getting Wonder Man, and everything is becoming too meta. I think that's a fair point. I think that's a fair concern to have with this show, with She-Hulk. But She-Hulk, whatever didn't work about She-Hulk, and I'm not the biggest fan of She-Hulk. I don't hate it either, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's a good show. She-Hulk didn't not work because it was meta. If anything, She-Hulk felt like it didn't work because it was meta, because at some point they just started doing the meta thing. They would do it rarely every now and then. And then that finale. I don't think that's the right kind of meta, but it didn't fail because it was meta. I think Wonder Mendo has a very clever nuance to its kind of meta-ness, where it's this actor that is trying out for a role in the MCU, and then he meets Trevor Slattery, who's an actor who likes Planet of the Apes, who was in Iron Man 3, and it pissed everyone off, myself included, rightfully so. And then he was in Shang-Chi. Which, by the way, where's Shang-Chi 2? By the way, it's pissing me off that we don't have a sequel for that. But Wonder Man looks insanely creative from a show standpoint. Just the idea of, let me make a show about this guy who is an actor, but he exists within the MCU, but he wants to try out for the MCU as an actor. I cannot wait to see how they blend in what and who Wonder Man actually is in the comics into this reality bending sort of idea for a show. I think that's very promise. Then apparently we have two other projects, but they're from Disney in general. They're from 20th century. They're not Marvel, but that is all the Marvel projects. We got Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Captain America Brave New World, Daredevil Born Again. We got Thunderbolts Asterisk. We got Ironheart. We got Fantastic Four First Step. Still hate that title. Don't give it a thumbs up. We got Eyes of Wakanda. We got Marvel Zombies. And we got Wonder Man. 9 projects total. It's going to be well, I don't know if it's going to be a big year. We're hoping it's going to be a big year, but it's going to be a long year for Marvel. Let me know in the comments which of the 9 projects are you most excited for. Rank them from your most exciting to your least exciting in the comments if you're watching us on the replay, or let us know in the live chat if you're watching us right now, or on Spotify if you're listening to us after the fact. All right. And no weekly rankings. So it's just my boy Leo in the chat. So I appreciate you being here, brother. All right, from there we go into your questions, and we don't have that many questions, so we might not. It might be a very short show today. So let's get us started with Tyler Van, good friend of the show. Tyler Van starts us off with. There we go. Most exciting. And the least exciting, Ironheart. Okay. I was expecting, I don't know why, but I was expecting me to be the lowest person on Ironheart. And if I think about it, Ironheart might be my least anticipated too. So what am I saying? Tyler Van says, hey guys, how are you? I'm doing very well, Tyler. Thank you for asking. Hope you are as well. Did you see the trailer for Carry On, action thriller starring Taron Egerton and Jason Bateman, coming out next month? I started watching it, and then at one point I turned it off because I was like, this trailer still has 40-something seconds to go. Why is this trailer so long? Why is it showing it so much? Why is it showing so much? I love this trailer. I had no idea what this was, and the thumbnail they put up is with Sophia Carson from the Descendants Disney movies. And look, she's not an actress whose career I'm like following because I'm a big fan, but I've seen her in those movies. I know that what she's mostly done since is these Netflix rom-coms, which are usually never good, or even if they appeal to me in some way, they end up never being good, or they're just not my thing to begin with. And so I'm like, oh, okay, it's going to be like a Christmas comedy with Sophia Carson. She's at the airport or whatever. But I decided to watch because I do think Sophia Carson is a good actress, quite a talented actress. And surprise, surprise, it's an action thriller with Taron Egerton and Jason Bateman as the villain. A lot of it reminded me of this film Grand Piano, which is written, not directed, but written by Damien Chazelle. And it's about Jesse Eisenberg, who's playing this grand piano concert. And then there's a hitman who's talking to him, played by John Cusack. it sort of has a similar vibe in the sense that a person is innocently doing their job, and here comes this guy speaking in their ear, like trying to control everything. And I really enjoy what I saw. I hope I quickly forget what I saw, because I think I saw too much. When I turned it off, it was already like, I already seen quite a bit of things I wish I didn't see or didn't know about the film. But it does look really, really good. Not at all what I thought it was going to be, but really, really good. All right, Nathan Holton, thoughts on 2026 Star Wars film delay and Ice Age 6 taking its spot? Not good. It doesn't sound good for Star Wars. Ice Age is coming back. Yay. Who asked for this? Who? Was it last year? Was it 2022? We had a direct to Disney Plus little movie, Ice Age, a little spin-off movie with a they're not squirrels, but the brothers of the mammoth that is not Manny, but it's Manny's wife, Ellie. And then Buck, who's the best character in this whole entire series of films. Do we need any more? 5 was abysmal. 4 is terrible. They peaked at 3. 3 is the best one. They had a trilogy. They should have stopped there. Other than that, I'm probably going to be there one way or another. I'm going to end up watching, and I hope I'm proven wrong, but the excitement just doesn't exist. It's not negative. It simply doesn't exist. Nathan Holton also asks, do you think Hercules film still happens at Disney? It's been in the works for ages and no updates. Same with Fast and Furious. Well, I don't know what Hercules and Fast and Furious have to do with one another. But we just got an update on Hercules this week. They apparently want to make it a villain-centric story and tell it from Hades' perspective, which doesn't work. Stop this. I've seen people saying Maleficent for men. Maleficent is for men. But also, it doesn't work for Hades. That treatment doesn't work for... Maleficent is an original character. You can do whatever the fuck you want with that character. Hades is a god from Greek mythology. Yes, we all know he wasn't actually evil. He's just the god of the underworld. People have to die, so he takes care of those souls. That's fair. You decide to portray him as evil in your film. This is a character that you, Disney, you specifically chose to make evil. And now you're going back on it. You know what's going to end up being? It's just going to end up being Hadestown. If you've not listened to Hadestown, it is one of the greatest musicals I have ever seen on stage. It's in London, playing right now on the West End. I'm not sure. I don't know. Is it on Broadway still? It should be, because it's fucking fantastic. If you try to make a Hades story where he's not really a villain, it's going to end up being Hadestown. If you want to make Hadestown, just make Hadestown. Also, if we're going off of the Maleficent comparison, Maleficent is a character that comes from a movie called, why am I blanking on the movie? Sleeping Beauty. This is not a film that has this distinct blending of genres and tones, and it's such a specific approach to mythology, which is what Hercules is. Hercules, it's Greek myth, but it has the backdrop of a Vegas film, and it's also a story about being a hero, which is a very Greek myth thing to do, but it's also a Disney musical and a Disney romance, and it has all these it's a blend that has a very specific personality. If you tell people you're going to make a live action Sleeping Beauty, besides being animation and gorgeously animated, by the way, still from a film from 70 years ago, from the 1950s, Sleeping Beauty looks gorgeous still. But it's not a film that has this distinct personality and angle to it. Hercules is pageantry. It's spectacle. It's professional wrestling, but it's also a Disney musical. It's also Greek myth. When people say we want to see a live action Hercules, they want to see that. When people say they want to see a live action Sleeping Beauty, number one, no one has ever said. But number two, it's not a film that has such a distinct thing where it's like, no, we want to see this. No, they want to see the princess getting picked on the thorn and then the prince wakes up and fights a dragon. They want to see that. You did Maleficent. You got around it and you still gave people that without giving them Sleeping Beauty. Hercules is one of the most specific, bonkers movies Disney has ever made. It's the same thing as Treasure Planet. It's the same thing. Treasure Planet is Treasure Island, but in space, but it still has the boats. The ships look like pirate ships. People dress like pirates. It's extremely specific. When you think of Hercules and the music and the romance and the kinds of songs that you have with also the Greek myth, gospel, Las Vegas, pro wrestling, musical, Hercules. You cannot do that while telling Hades' story. That story is very specific. Hercules would not enjoy the music. He would not enjoy the pageantry. Again, here's what pisses me off. Maleficent, she's inherently a villain. You can do whatever you want with that character. Hades is a character from Greek myth Disney specifically made into a villain for their narrative. I'm not saying that's a bad thing or good thing. It's just, it's what they did. And Hades is the villain in Hercules' story. Cool. And now you want to redeem him. You made him a villain. Commit to him being a villain. I don't think making a Hades-centric film is going to work. And also, by it being a Hades-centric film, it's instantly disconnected from being the Hercules that people want to see. And that pisses me off because Hercules is one of my top 5 Disney movies of all time. I frigging love Hercules. I love the music. I love the visuals. I love the story. I love everything about it. And changing it to Hades' story, it just doesn't work. Not in this specific case. So yeah. All right. Last few questions that we got. I keep on refreshing, but we have nothing new. Nathan Holton, have you been enjoying WWE recently, and any predictions on anything in WWE that I think will happen soon? No predictions, and I am really enjoying it. It's really good. Consistently really good with great stories, great narratives. So yeah. Also asks, any TV show recommendations? I just watched Sugar. Sugar is very good. Colin Farrell is excellent in it. I'm not going to spoil what at all, but the show takes a turn in episode 6. And again, without spoiling, the way they leave off in the finale, it promises you a season 2. So I hope that Apple does green light a season 2. But also, I don't know what the show is in a season 2. And that makes no sense unless you've seen it. And once you see it, you'll get what I mean. I don't know what the show is going forward. But it's something I'm interested in. It's something that's very different from what I just watched, but it's something I'm interested in. Also, if you haven't also on Apple TV Plus, Silo. Silo is coming out with season 2 this week. Hang on. Do I have an episode of Silo to watch? I think it was November 15th. Oh no. Do I have season 2 to watch? Oh, I have first episode is out. Okay, if you haven't seen Silo, season 2 just started on Apple TV. Great show. I'm also watching on Netflix Culinary Class Wars. It is vicious. If you've seen Physical 100, this is from the same creators, but it's a culinary show. And it's ruthless. It is cutthroat, man. But yeah, I'm not. Now you just remind me that I have to watch Silo. Also, I'm watching Dragon Ball Daima every week. So if you're not watching Dragon Ball Daima, watch Dragon Ball Daima. If you're not watching because you're like, oh, I've never seen Dragon Ball, watch Dragon Ball. It's one of the greatest shows of all time. You lazy. All right, what do we have next? Um, Thoughts on How to Train Your Dragon live action photos and Snow White having a $269 million budget. The photos for the live action How to Train Your Dragon look sick. I can't even lie, they look great, especially the ones with Toothless. Oh, he looks too much like the anime. What do you want to see? Do you want him to look like a vicious dragon, like a real dragon? No, I want Toothless to look like Toothless. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Character design is important, people. Character design exists for a reason. Snow White having 269. I mean, they reshot most of it, so I don't like that it's that expensive, but it makes sense. Shouldn't have happened, but it makes sense why it's like that. Why is this out of order? Hang on. There we go. Okay. Final two questions, everyone. Nathan Holton also asks, do you have any Oscar predictions as of now on any category? No. Nah, not really. I mean, I am pulling for Angelina Jolie to win Best Actress for Maria all the way. But proper predictions? No, not really. Like, I can tell you she should easily be the favorite. I don't know if she actually is the favorite, but the film hasn't even come out yet. They haven't started the proper press tour for and all that, so it's too early to tell. Way too early to tell. Final question. Final question, everyone. I will refresh after reading this one. But as of right now, this will be the final question because we have no more. So it's a short episode today. It's fine. Nathan Holton, are you guys excited for Wicked, and what are your expectations? I am trepidatiously excited for Wicked. I love the musical. I've seen the musical one time. I don't know why I was thinking about it. I saw it at one time. Because it's a musical. I'm not gonna see a musical unless I really, really love it, like Hadestown or Les Mis. Can't spend money on a musical you've already seen because it's just not financially responsible. Like it's so fucking expensive to go to the theater these days. I don't know what to expect because the film is part one, but it is just as long as one half of the musical on stage. Which again, I've seen. It's incredible in person. Cynthia Erivo, awesome. John M. Chu directed In the Heights. He can do anything as far as I'm concerned. It looks of course, it looks like it's made with CGI because it is, and there's nothing wrong with that. It should look like otherworldly and fantastical and exaggerated. Ariana Grande, do I think she'll be a good actress? I don't think so. She can sing, so I guess she'll do a good job at that. Demetrius Scott with a super chat. Thank you so much, Demetrius. Appreciate you being here, brother. Thank you so much for the support. I'm trepidatiously excited just because I like the musical. I like everyone who's involved. The trailer, and again, you guys know I only watch first trailer, so I'm purposely avoiding any other trailers. But just judging off of that first trailer, it looks fine. It looks like what a Wicked movie adaptation should look like. With a John M. Chu directing. So I hope I like it. I'm hoping for the best. I am ready to be disappointed. When I say ready, it's not like I'm going to take it well. I'm going to be disappointed. I'm going to be mad that I didn't like the film. But I am aware that is, I wouldn't say a strong possibility, but it is a credible possibility, you know? So all right, everyone. Let me refresh one more time, just in case. I don't want to miss any possible questions because I do love answering the questions. And that is it. That does it for this week's This Week in Geek, a solo show. Again, guys, remember, next week I'm in the process of moving. There can't be a show next week. Hopefully, internet in a new place and all that by the 30th, on November 30th, we can have our show, and that evening will be Survivor Series, so I cannot wait to watch that. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully Zach will be back by the time our next episode comes on. Again, thank you so much for watching. Devin Scott, big shout out to you, sir. Thank you for the support today, and we'll be back until the next. We'll be back on the next one. So until then, love each other and love the movie.